6 o'clock. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'd like to second that motion. So Jack second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
And we will stand to do the pledge, please, and then about if I ask you to leave some wiser.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I think everybody's gonna have to speak loudly, okay?
Okay, we need to speak up. That includes us up here too, so we'll work on that. I'd like to welcome all of you to our August already. Unbelievable board meeting. And I see we have a few people here. And if anyone wishes to approach the board with something, now is the time to do it. Questions or concerns? Yes, Sandy.
Yes, I just want the board to know that, as of today, there were 100 views on the video that was posted on the town website for the short-term rental. And that could be multiple views by, say people, but still, I think that that's a lot.
I would say.
And I just want to implore the board to hire a consultant or spend some money to get a system that works for the Zoom meetings, because it wasn't working at that hearing. If it wasn't for a private citizen who happened to record that meeting, we wouldn't even have that video. So I'm just really imploring the town to spend the money for a system that works. We have vital issues with the town. We have the short-term rental, we have the tax situation, we have the sewer thing that's going to be an ongoing thing for the next the septic thing. So spend the money and get a good.
Thank you. Appreciate your concern, Sandy. All right, anyone else? All right, then let's move on to the business at hand. I need a motion to pay the general highway and sewer claims in the amount of $27,993.84. So I'd like to make that motion. I'll make it. Marie made the motion, second to the motion.
Second.
Jack, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next, a motion to accept the minutes as printed, subject to corrections for July 11th, 2023, and the public hearing on July the 27th, 2023. Someone like to bring that motion to the floor? So Jack, bring it to the floor. Second to the motion.
Second.
Second by Josh. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Then they'll stand as approved. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. All right, let's move on to the regular committee reports. Administrative, really, I have nothing at hand at this point to present to you. So we'll move on to buildings and grounds. Josh?
I have nothing other than that a lot of rain throughout the summer.
Isn't that the truth? All right, thank you. Highway, as long as Matt's here, we're gonna ask him for a little overview.
A lot of rain. Things done when you gotta do them over and over.
I know, but that's true. Thank you. Museum historian, Josh.
I don't have any.
Okay,
The Historical Society is sponsoring a local author's book signing at Silver Bay this Sunday from 4 to 7 in the inn at the North End in Gullen Hall. So we have about nearly 20 local authors, so I hope everybody
Really?
can come
That's
out for that.
wonderful.
Yeah, 5th
Great.
year that we've done it.
right, thank you. Personnel, Jack.
Our CEO resigned effective August 1st, and we have posted that position. If you know of anybody who is interested in that, we want someone to step up as soon as possible. The position is now full-time, so that we should be able to get persons who are looking for a full-time job with benefits to serve paid. So please spread the word. We need a CEO.
Thank you. Under planning and zoning, there's not a lot to report as the zoning board meeting was canceled for the month. The planning board meeting was canceled, so that's why it's important for us to get somebody on board so they can kind of just pick up and move on. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. The town park beautification, all that good stuff.
Well, Mooskin Park and the food trucks are going very well.
Yes.
Well received. We've got a real good turnout. Hopefully we can get the fireworks on 8/16. We'll be checking the weather and, I've talked to the, company and they're ready to go. And, we've also got the Hague Open Water Swim coming on the 19th, which is a good event in town. We're gonna get a lot of people. We've got, Todd's gonna be working, Jen and Emily, the girls are gonna be working. We've got, 3 volunteers to work up at the, sign-in desk, our best, Peggy Kowalski and Lonnie Fenimore. So that's really about all that's going on there. It's been pretty busy and hopefully it keeps up that way.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Steve. Jack, Sewer District 1 and 2.
The Sewer EDU Appeals Committee is working on 3 appeals. We'll recommend action on one of them tonight. The other 2 are being processed at this time.
All right. Issues at the plant. Did John talk to you today about the pump? Oh, well, we're having some issues there and apparently there's a leak somewhere. He had someone there today who was checking it out, and so he decided to call a plumber, see if the plumber could come and tell exactly what was happening. And he's hoping it's not the pipes that go underneath the building, because it's not the pump itself. People that he had look at it today said it's not a problem with the pump. So
Which
up at the main
the
plant.
main
And the pump came for the Dodge Hill Pump Station, but then they had the wrong parts, so they had to order the right parts, so he's hoping within a few days, the right parts will be here and they can get that pump put in, so. Okay, Steve, was there anything under environmental concerns?
Well, I think everything's going pretty good so far, you know. We've had some issues at the transfer station and I got Gore Electric up there.
Right.
To work on the switch. It was an old fuse that wouldn't go and John came up and got it going and they tested it. He's trying to get a new part, hopefully get it and everything seems to be working well up there. Been going pretty well.
Okay,
No problems with anybody coming up and been open since before and it's working pretty well.
okay, I was gonna ask you something, I lost my train of thought. Well, when I remember it, I'll come back and ask you. All right, thanks, Steve. Oh, I know it was not wood, not weed. Are we doing anything with
Well,
it?
we did some knotweed already. He went around at Silver Bay, not Silver Bay. The land conservancy they paid half. Hopefully he'll be able to get back up at the end of this month. And there's a few more places he wants to get, but he hit it really hard and did a good job. Hit a lot of places. A
Okay,
lot of folks signed off on it. He does a good job when he comes back up. So, yeah, again, he may get up again depending on his schedule toward the end of it, but there's more in the backyard than we just saw the other day. So there's some things we work on still, but he's done real well.
okay, along that line, though, I did want to say that we had met with somebody from the LGA and from the Warren County Soil and Water as far as the sediment ponds and the pond down by Peggy's Point. They will be coming to get those taken care of. I just want to ask a question of Matt, because I haven't seen, when they checked out that wall down there by the big boat dock, did they have any comments or suggestions?
Yeah, they know what person grant money for you.
Oh, good.
Apply for them. Anybody hasn't seen it on a big boat dock, that retaining wall that holds our road, the access road in or out.
The south one, the south road.
Yep, South Road.
Yeah, definitely.
If you go down there and go fishing, you're not supposed to swim there, but you go fishing there. You look, all them lower rocks, all been top free by the lakes. So it's just a matter of time before that wall comes down.
So they are gonna look for grant dollars, though, yeah?
Who is they, Matt?
With that,
Who's they?
Soil and Water and the Lake George Association.
Right.
They're the people that are gonna get us our permits anyway. Yeah, decide to do something there, but we're just wondering, you know, like, want to look at it.
So they-
It's gonna happen in the future.
Yeah, so it is something we have to deal with, kind of, we can't just say it's not important. If you go down there and look at it, you'll see that it needs work. John?
Question to Steve, is there any opportunity for the not people to do any private residence, not weed, which?
Oh, yeah, he does private residence. He has a form. We have to sign it. If you like, I can, get with you afterwards and I'll give you. I think one other thing too, it's
Go ahead.
flood. down on the bottom of Pine Orchard Road.
Mhm.
And Frankie had his guys come up today and they dug off the edges of the road because it wiped out the driveway down below.
Right,
And so the guys came up and they dug all around it and they're gonna come back this week with a big hose and they're gonna push right through the water. So the culvert opens up because they can't tell if the culvert's jammed. So, but they did work on that and Frankie's gonna have the guys back this next week and finish that up. So there'll be no future floods on these people's driveways.
I'm gonna go back then to Matthew for a minute. Do we also not have a problem down there with the sidewalk by Mr. Maero?
Yes.
Is that something we've been working with?
Well, we're just finding out about it. We did emergency repairs to try to stop this water, but that's gonna have to be looked at. I don't know whether you're gonna have to hire an engineer or a contractor. Get different contractor proposals, something that's gonna have to put in. Sidewalks gotta come up. So as they paved that section of the road, they took out our swale. So now we've been arguing with them and they're saying their sidewalks aren't their problem.
Oh, there are, apparently.
They didn't agree with, I tried to get them to put a catch basin in right there at the road on the east side of Pine End, right by the boat slip.
Mhm.
There's one in the parking lot, which the water does go to, but it should have done something there, because now the Egg Motel and Bob Maero, all in town down there get all the water. So
Again,
it's kind of hard for us to try to help our neighbors when there is no there's no.
No easy fix to it.
There's no easy fix.
Right.
I mean, we threw sandbags down around the guardrail because Bob Maero's property looks terrible, it's running right through his walls, the retaining walls, water coming out. Come on, got pictures of people posted online, we'll get to it, but it's trying to get the state going up for something that they did and what they didn't do, and then they're trying to blaming us because we did our parking lot. It's like, we butted up against, we left ours the way it was, and the state came in and butted up against us,
Right.
but they didn't include a swale in there hardly at all.
All right, but when we had that sidewalk problem that was across from the Hague Market, didn't the state have something to do with that and helping in the repair of
You
it?
know, we did it all. We put it in, we tore it out, if not, I don't know. Say it, but wait for the state to do something, and the process that they gotta go through, and then the manpower it takes,
Should we start, we do have, an engineer that we have on board. Should we contact them and say, at least come check this out and see if you have any?
Sure, I mean, you're gonna have to do something, I mean, if not, you're gonna have to go in with water.
Okay. All right,
Bird in.
well, at least let's have them come and take a look at it and see if they can come up with any
Yeah, I mean,
suggestions.
the sidewalks all gotta come out of there, once
Okay.
they decide if they're gonna put a sidewalk back in there, or put a decent swale in there, if there's emergency remedy for like, all the way through there and then throw a new swale in, but it's, as far as the highway department, state road, we're not responsible for any of that.
Right,
And we can't just go and start doing things, we'll throw up sandbags all over the place.
but you can't
That's
do,
not the problem, and it's not our problem, it's not us that has to make that decision, so to say.
Right.
And then go through all the process, but the town board, as far as I understood, the sidewalks were our responsibility.
okay, so then we need to move on it then. We can't wait for somebody else when it's our responsibility. Okay,
Get an engineer and have them look at it, but of course, put it out for bids, one the same way we always do, we'll help them, that's our portion of the contract, we'll take up the sidewalk or take something out.
This is the sidewalk between the Hague Beach and the Big Boat Dock?
mhm.
Didn't the state pave that quite a few years ago, or?
They just paved it this year.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true, they did.
I thought they did the whole road over, well, that was Tongue, never
That
mind.
they went up over
Yeah.
town.
Yeah, but they started where they left off there. Well, it's a section of all that fell in the lake. It went one way one year and then this way this year, which it should have been last year. And I'm getting pushed off, it's great. But anytime you're dealing with state entities and state roads, I mean, we work good with the county, we just make the phone call, and they say, please, can you help us? We help them.
Right.
Well, the state, they say, we'll have to call our boss. No,
Yeah, you don't get far, that's for sure.
Then you don't get the right answer.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. Peter?
We had a similar problem, maybe not as large as this problem with the way that ditch worked out, paving around our house, they filled in what had been a ditch. Washed out, and his guys came, we cleaned it up, but it washed out a big chunk of our beach, the beach that we have there. We got resistance at a couple of levels, but Alan Dixon, who was the head DOT guy in Wordsworth, came over and promised to fix it, comes to fix it. Well,
Well, let's see if that happens.
we'll see.
Maybe when he comes.
He was not resistant. There are several levels of resistance.
But you've got somebody who listened to you.
He supposedly is the head engineer. Came over and admitted it was their problem and they were going to fix it. We'll see.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, Kim, I'm gonna, Steve, I'm sorry.
Let me just say one more thing. I'd just like to thank Lance Clark for having the Thai acoustics up here. We moved them inside last Thursday. We had probably 65 or so people and it lasted. It was a good crowd and it was real nice and we appreciate them coming and I'm sure they're gonna come back again next year. So,
Very good. Turnout was great.
oh, it was great. It was packed.
We made, or there's been some changes made on the web, so I think I'm gonna let Kim tell you about that, what they can look for there.
So, because the minutes are so difficult to find on our town website, Amanda, and I worked on a way, to fix that. So basically, this is the website, the front page of the website. And over here, this is a brown box. So and it says now, before it was just town code, but now we changed it to town code and minutes. So now all people have to do is click on this and then it'll bring it to where they can click on to search for the minutes. It's a lot easier because before you'd have to go through the town board and, right, Amanda, we'd have to, there was a whole step. So we just wanted to make it easier for the public to be able to find the minutes and actually our codes on our website.
So thank you, girls.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Okay, hold
One
on.
more, Ed.
Yes,
While we're on the website, it could be updated on when the boat ramp is open. Because there's a couple of days where you're closed between 11 and 3 or something like that. That is not reflected on the website.
Amanda does the
So I checked the website and I went there on one of those days at 1 o'clock and it was closed. So I had to wait till 3. But I'm just gonna say, I went to the website, which a lot of people probably do. And it doesn't reflect.
Where do you look for it? Because when Amanda posts the schedule, which she does at the beginning of each month or prior to each month, it's in the news section on the front page of the
I
website.
go to parks.
No,
I have it under parks.
you do
I
have.
have the whole summer under parks through September, but every month I'll post that specific month in the news. So the calendar I have, I just inputted the info that I got from Steve. So I did put, I'm not sure if maybe.
Well, we
there
can
was
double check
something
that tomorrow
missed.
then.
Yeah.
But just so you know, it is basically in the general news section.
For
Right,
that for the specific
right.
month.
for the
but
Pacific.
I have them all
So
in.
for our
parks as well.
tourists, it would be more logical to have it in the park section rather than having them look all over the website for specifics.
Well, she
I
just,
have it up.
She's
It's-
involved.
You have a schedule that is printed down which is very nice if you visit it. But if you go on the website and say, I want to launch my boat, it says Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever that day is, it's open all day.
I'll work with Steve to make sure that Amanda has the
We'll take a look
proper
at it.
Yeah.
information for the next month.
Thank you.
all right, let's move on to communications and petitions. I need a motion to accept the resignation of Matt McGee as CEO effective Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. Jack will make the motion, second to the motion. Maureen,
Excuse me. Are we done with committees?
that's what we'll, yes, we are.
Don't.
Any question you have now, you're gonna have to wait until the end of the meeting. first part of the meeting was open to the privilege of the floor. So now we're gonna finish up the meeting. At the end, if you have questions, then we'll go back to take your questions, okay? So Jack made the motion. Who seconded the motion? Maureen? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Well, needless to say, it really left us in a lurch, I would say. I certainly wasn't expecting it. Didn't have like 2 weeks' notice. It was effective the day that I got the telephone call. But I will tell you that I got a call from Kathy Clark last week offering her services just in the interim till we were able to get someone else. She said she really felt badly for the people who they're waiting on, some have to have paper stamps, some are waiting on CO, others are just waiting for their application to be processed. So that's why she said she was offering her services. Definitely said she didn't want 40 hours a week. And I said to her, I didn't expect you for 40 hours a week when you worked for us before. Whatever fit into your schedule, we were happy with to see how much that you could accomplish in that amount of time. So she feels, before when she worked for us, she acted as a consultant and we paid her $30 an hour. But she feels now she's not just going to be the consultant. She is going to be the acting CEO until we put somebody else in place. So her suggestion was if we would consider the $35 an hour, probably for 24 hours a week. So I said that would have to be a board decision. So that's why I'm bringing it to the board tonight. I have to say, I didn't expect her to kind of step up to the plate, but I really do appreciate the fact that she did, because there is just stacks of work that needs to be done in that office, a stack of telephone calls that she has to return to people who have questions. So I guess I'm looking at how the board feels about this. Jack?
What was the equivalent per hour rate that we were paid?
Well, we paid her 30 when she was a consultant. Remember when she first came on board?
We hired Matthew full-time at
Like 58, I guess.
58 divided by 2,000. 20.
That, I don't know for sure. All I know is she acted as a consultant for $30 an hour. Then when we backed her down to kind of being his assistant, we gave her $22.50. So what she's saying, she feels because she's going to have to do the whole job, that she feels, and the money is there, of course, because we're not paying Matthew. So the money is there to pay her. So that's what she's asking for. So I am not making that decision. That's why I'm looking to the board.
And I think it's a no-brainer. I think we accept her offer with gratitude.
I think I'm not going to disagree with you on that, Josh, because we do have just so many people that are on hold that are calling because lady has everything in place except she needs 3 maps stamped. At this point, she could be waiting for a month if she waits for us to advertise, get somebody in place and have them, start the job.
Not to mention, we're gonna need probably Kathy to help train the
Oh,
new person.
I would think so. Right.
There's a
Are
couple-
you in favor of that, Steve? Maureen? How about you making that motion then, Josh? I'll look for a second to.
I make the motion to hire Kathy Clark as acting CEO effective immediately at her specified rate of pay.
All right, so we'll put that in the minutes at $35 an hour. All right, a second to that motion.
Second.
Steve seconds the motion. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you for that, Josh. Okay, Maureen, I'm going to turn to you for a couple of minutes. Oh, no, we got something else first. Permission for Amanda Peterson and David Martucci to attend Assessors Conference from October 5th at 6/2023, as well as David wants to take an online course. I'm assuming then, Amanda, that online course, there's money involved. It's not just a course that he's taking.
Yeah.
Okay, because I figured otherwise he really wouldn't need our people.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone like to make that motion to give them permission to go to the assessor school? I'll make that. All right, one made the motion, Steve seconded the motion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Maureen, I know you have some information for us on the charging
Yeah,
stations.
National Grid, you have to use their contractors when you do the charging stations. So I located one right in Glens Falls, well, Queensbury. Apex.
Right.
But they came back with the wrong quote that I wanted, so I reached out to them again to please redo it. Because they put too much in here.
Oh, okay.
And the way they did it would have been $6,980. Now, that's just for the contract and putting the machine in.
Wow.
It's not including National Grid's charges and or monthly charge from National Grid.
Oh,
So we have, National Grid will contact me after I get the vote from Apex finalized.
mhm.
Then I'll hear from National Grid and find out how much they're gonna charge us.
Did National Grid say anything about having grants? Because I thought at one point
Well,
National
there
Grid,
is one in here. They'll do that. Apex will do that.
oh,
for
okay,
us.
they would work at getting that grant for us.
Yeah, it was something about 20, we needed 20 employees in our town, in, the community, or to get, there was a $2,000 one, and then they're working on something else for us.
Oh, okay,
So they do all the paperwork for us, which is good.
okay, so you'll get back to us then when
Well,
you
as
hear.
soon as he gets back to me with the reporting.
Good, thank you, I appreciate
I
that.
have a few things
Yep, go ahead, Josh.
on that. First off, I just want to thank Maureen for taking the initiative and doing that work. The first thing. Second, have we collectively thought as a community and as a board where these charging stations are gonna go in our town?
Yeah, they already came out.
She's had them here.
And Matt's gonna help us too with it.
Yeah, and then
We have electricity right down at the end.
Where's it?
Basketball court is,
There's a community center.
there's 2 spaces there that we could use up.
And just throw in your box and meter right there and have it all. Wind up beside it.
Right. No, I'm just thinking out loud about, I think that's a wonderful starting point. I've got no objections to that, but I would just say what I learned at the county level is they put their charging stations in an area where it was a large walk and they found that they got used very, very little because it wasn't directly, in a common parking area. And I think that I don't know how it's gonna work out in the town of Hague. We have a unique community, but we might find that they don't get used there very little, as opposed to we could have a small spot somewhere closer to the center of town or at the beach. I would think we might see a different,
We could put signage up there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. We could put signs down, charging stations at the community center around. Because that's why we really never put Wi-Fi down at the beach
Because we didn't have
people
parking.
would sit there all day.
Yeah.
And that was, people come and go and that would take up too much space. So again, that's a good space by the basketball court. Just put a couple signs around, charging stations at community center.
right. I suppose that would be good, because if they need them, they'll definitely make that walk. But I think the reason that they didn't work at the county is because human nature, right? A person's lazy, so they're not gonna walk any farther than they need to.
That's true, and they'd be walking up to the outlets, and they really didn't like walking from the county center.
Right.
Not
Just
that-
telling you what I learned.
just-
It's about human nature rather than, anyway, I just bringing a different perspective, that's all.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Can I ask a question or should I wait about this topic or should I wait till the
Yeah,
end?
would you mind waiting till?
Yep.
the end? Yep. All right, under new business, we have a resolution to approve an additional $11,500 to $12,000 to SRA engineers to complete the Yaw Road project. I didn't know, Matthew, if there's anything, I know, I'm sorry I keep calling on you, but I didn't know if there's anything you wanted to add to that.
I'd rather not, but.
Okay, well,
There's a lot to it. I mean,
okay,
limited space, way the water's flowing, they have to redesign, the water flow out. So,
so there's something we have to do anyway.
We're trying to stay in regulation, there's codes and
Right.
stuff that have to be followed. When you can't follow them codes, our job as the highway department is to point them out, make sure it does get done right, and where it does get protected. So they have to relook at some of the issues that's happening there. There's a lot of high water, you can bump around, how to dry your brook out,
Okay,
all that good stuff.
so they need more money.
We're looking for the engineer to make them decisions, so you don't have to.
Right, and that's the way it should be. I agree. All right, so I need someone to make that motion to approve the additional dollars for the project.
So
Maureen make the motion.
I will second it.
All right, all those in favor?
Uh,
Aye, opposed? Carried, thank you. Resolution regarding the allocation of real property taxes between the town of Hague and the town of Ticonderoga for the Ticonderoga Central School District. We have a lengthy resolution, but I'm going to turn it over to Jack, because Jack has worked on this, and I think he can kind of condense it down and just explain to us what it's all about and what we're trying to accomplish.
I think as everyone knows, we underwent a reval in March. The result of that was our town property total doubled in value, and that affects our share of the Ticonderoga Central School District school taxes. That was a big bump. Our value in fact doubled, and the result, if we didn't do anything else with our share, which we also think is very large, would go from about 50% to 55%, or even 56%. That's a big jump. And so thanks to Peter Carney, he discovered, to Ticonderoga School District's surprise, that there is a way that large increments can be taken instead of one big lump sum. They can be averaged over 3 to 5 years. And so we have, looking at that, if we get the town of Ticonderoga School Board to use averaging methodology, we could, instead of experiencing a 56% share of the school taxes for this coming year, it could go down to somewhere in the mid-50s, maybe 52 or 53%. So on that basis, and the School Tax Advisory Committee in their meeting defined a path of action to try to put some pressure on Ticonderoga Central School District to use that methodology. And on that basis, we developed a resolution. It has been presented to the board. The board has reviewed it. The form of the resolution was complete as early as August 2nd, and we sent that out to the superintendent of schools and to the president of the School Board of Education by email as an advance for our approval tonight. And it turns out that that was very opportune, because when they got that, and we also told them we were sending it to them by mail certified, they took it seriously and are going to consider that in their upcoming special meeting, which was called apparently specifically for this purpose. And that meeting will be held tomorrow night at 5 o'clock at a special meeting of the School Board of Education. The resolution simply, and we have stated a whole number of whereases, which I just summarized. We have formulated a resolution that says that, and I'll read the resolution.
Please.
The resolution says, resolve, the town of Hague authorizes Edna Fraser, supervisor of the town of Hague, or Jack Bass, chair of the School Tax Advisory Committee of the town of Hague, to request Scott Nephew, district superintendent of the Ticonderoga School District, and Mark Russell, president of the School Board of Education, as the governing body of the Ticonderoga Central School District, to resolve to employ the 5-year averaging methodology specified in the second and third sentences of section 1314 DI of the New York State Real Property Tax when determining the allocation of school taxes between the towns of Hague and Ticonderoga for the 2023-2024 fiscal year, or if not possible, the three-year averaging methodology specified in the same sentences when determining the allocation of school taxes between the towns of Hague and Ticonderoga for the 2023-24 fiscal year. They are apparently taking us seriously at this point. We have spoken to them, thanks to Peter, and for meetings with both the superintendent and the school business official administrator previously. And so, again, I urge everyone to attend tomorrow night's meeting. The more people we get there, I think the more it will help us to get them to resolve to use this methodology. So I hereby recommend that we approve this resolution, which will be then sent to them as a formal.
Right, second to that motion. Steve will make the second to the motion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Thank you for all the work that you did on that, Jack. I know you had help from others, but I know you spent a good amount of time on that when you do.
It was a group effort. You had a lot of.
You did, you had a lot of, which was good. We had a lot of input. All right, the next thing is to, and we did get all this paperwork. You should have had it in your folders, or it went out in the email, I believe, because that's how mine came in the email. To act on the recommendations from the Sewer EDU Appeals Committee regarding appeals by Peter Carney. Just a couple of things I want to bring to your attention is that the three Carney appeals are detailed in the attachment along with Mr. Carney's introduction. Appeals have been seriously considered by the Sewer EDU Appeals Committee, including new field inspection by the assessor and further review of the legal standing by the town attorney. The committee's conclusion and its recommendation is included in attachment 2. The committee has gone to extra length in its recommendation to further clarify the issues in contention by Mr. Carney. These three new appeals are essentially the same as an appeal that was submitted by Mr. Carney in 2022. The committee considered that the earlier appeal and determined that it was without merit because the claims made by property owner misunderstanding of the difference between sewer charges and real property tax assessments. So basically what we've been recommended, and the Board of Appeals met, they discussed this, they discussed it with the attorney, and what we are being asked to do is, whoa. Isn't that wonderful?
Always something.
It should kind of bump this, I was gonna say. So the recommendation by the appeals committee is, must be the wind, huh? See what happens.
Like it back in, Moose.
The Sewer EDU Appeals Committee recommends that the town board deny the appeal submitted by Margaret and Peter Carney for their property at 9193 Lakeshore Drive and maintain the current sewer assessment of 2.33 EDU. So they really have followed the process. They spent time on this, so they're recommending to us that we deny that appeal. So I don't know if there's someone on the board that would make that motion to deny the appeal. Josh?
Discussion.
Mhm. Or bring it to the floor first and then discuss.
Well, if
That's normally-
somebody else wants. to
All
bring it
right,
to the
someone will
floor.
bring it to, well, we need to discuss it, so it has to come to the floor for discussion. Jack will make the motion, second to the motion. Maureen, okay, Josh.
After reading through this detailed letter, the main point of contention is, the way that I'm understanding it, is the definition of a pass-through area. Is that what I'm understanding?
That
Yeah,
was
I-
one of the points of contention. The main point is the definition of an office versus a bedroom for the purposes of determining EDU assessment versus property tax assessment.
Right.
So that's the main distinction, is how do you define a bedroom for the purposes of an EDU assessment versus a tax assessment.
The tax assessment, though, is generally based on square footage, though, right?
Right.
Right. But a lot of this hinges on the laundry room, right? And how it's defined as as it's contributing to whether it's a pass-through area or not, is that how it's playing a factor into the whole thing?
Not in this particular instance, in the sketch of the area which was provided by the assessor and their staff. The sketch is very clear on the fact that there are no pass-throughs of the rooms in contention.
What, do you wanna, go ahead, Peter, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. We have in this town a definition for sewer assessment appeals that is only applied to people who appeal their sewer assessment. It is not applied universally across all houses within the sewer district. It's only applied there. And it is a definition that is incomplete. This room meets the definition of a bedroom. You're looking for a room that is 70 square feet and has a doorway in it. That is not the definition of a bedroom. Definition of a room, definition of a bedroom has a bed in it. My office has no room for a bed in it. It has built-in desk, it has bookcases, it has computers, it has work tables. There is no room for a bed in there. It is not a bedroom. It is no different than the office in Ginger's home. She has an office that has beautiful built-in desks, computers, workbenches. It doesn't have a bed in it. Why is her office not counted as a bedroom? Because you don't look at bedroom, you don't look at it. You don't apply that definition of a bedroom to any houses that are on the tax roll, real property tax roll for 1, 2, or 3 bedrooms. They can have an office in there as well. So it's not being uniformly applied, and it is an incomplete definition at best. You have a new definition in the draft short-term rental agreement. It says a bedroom is a room with a bed in it. That is common sense. It's time this board comes to grips with this. In the past, you've said the definition needs additional work. You charged the EDU committee with coming up with a better definition as near as I can tell from the minutes, and I can't find any place that would come up with a better definition. I'm happy to walk out of here with six bedrooms and pay it and move on. I have an office unequivocally. It is an office and nothing else. I still do some consulting. Before I retired, that's where I did my work. There is no bedroom in it. Counting it as a bedroom is not fair. It's not equitable. And you're not counting any other offices anywhere else within either sewer district 1 or sewer district 2. Lastly, you speak with the controller's office and look at the guidance that the controller hands out. The controller says very clearly, you can't change the method of assessment after the initial construction of a project. When we voted on that district, on the District 2, we voted on a project that made the same charge for every house in District 2. And look at the controller's guidance, it's very specific, so it can't be done. It's got to continue on the same basis that it was approved when capital costs were.
So is there one door to this?
There is one door, it's more than 70 square feet. It has a permanent desk built in it. It has bookcases, it has work tables, it has computers, printers, and telephones.
But I'm just thinking.
I have 2 other bedrooms that have pass-throughs. Okay, they have beds in them. You can walk from one to another, and then you can walk from one to our 2nd floor porch that is used by the entire family.
But it could, I guess their point would be that it could be turned into a bedroom. The
Then I
office.
will pay if it is a bedroom.
Yeah, but how would we,
This could be a bedroom. Are you looking at every house in District 1 and District 2 to say, where is there a room with 70 or greater square feet? And you're charging that as a bedroom? No, you're not. You're only applying this definition to those people who appeal their sewer assessment. To no one else. There's nothing uniform about that. You have not looked at all the houses in District 1, District 2 to determine if they have an office. And charge that office as though it's a bedroom. You haven't done that. And it's not the right thing to do. You started out with a tax roll when you drafted these regulations. That tax roll had me on there for 7 bedrooms. Wrote a letter to supervisor. She said I needed to take it up with the assessor. I took it up with the assessor. He immediately changed it to 6 bedrooms. And it's been on the roll for 6 bedrooms since then. Somehow in that machination of writing the regulation, the list that you used for number of bedrooms did not get updated. It isn't a bedroom. Take a poll, go inspect someplace. You want to inspect everyone in this town that is in both sewer districts and determine any room that is greater than 70 feet and has a door in it, is a bedroom, and charge accordingly. I'll live with that, but you're not going to do that. I want to be treated fairly. I have paid this bill. I've put up with this problem for 3 years. It's time we fix it. Thank you.
Right, thank you. I think we need to remember, Josh, this is the second go around on this. We went through this last year. We had,
No, I remember.
we had the attorney respond to it, and we're back to square one. So I guess we do have a motion on the floor in the second. I guess
Can I
need.
just say one thing, though? I guess my only thought on the whole thing is, I would agree with Mr. Carney, it should be universally applied throughout both sewer districts. But, I mean, if something can be turned into a bedroom, right, and it's not a pass-through area, it's a door, or it's a room with only one door, and I think it meets the criteria of a bedroom. I mean, I do sympathize with your
Bedroom
situation.
should have a bed in it.
I'm only speaking in terms of the definition that it could be a bedroom. It's the same thought process of somebody that winterizes their house and only uses the sewer district for 3 months out of the year. Now, do they have to pay for just those 3 months? No, they have the ability to use it all year, so they have to pay all year. I mean, I'm
arguing that.
right. I know you're not. I'm relating it to that.
You are drafting a short-term rental regulation as an excellent definition of a bedroom. Why is that definition of a bedroom different than it is for EDU assessments? And why is it not universally applied to every house in the district?
I don't know.
Steve, any comment?
Has anybody visited that?
Yes,
To the
the assessor's
property.
been there, he's taken, they've gone, they've measured it. It's not like, they've spent a lot of time on
Right,
this,
right.
Steve.
I mean, we did the same thing a little bit ago, when in Forest Bay, remember that about a couple of years ago?
Yes, we did,
Yeah.
that's right.
It was the same thing. Had to make a rule then.
Maureen, any comments?
I believe we did it in zoning also, when I was on the board.
Oh, okay, you're right. Jack, what would you like to say?
We reviewed this extensively with the assessor's office. We did a field visit and to clarify that we were operating on a that basis, and the attorney has reviewed it again and determined that our decision is reasonable.
Yes, I did read that over. Well, we have it on the floor. There's been a motion and a second, so we're gonna vote on it. So I'll go around the table. Steve?
My wife would like to speak if you could for that.
I would like to know what Mr. Silvestri has to say about the comptroller's opinion that once you sign a contract with a town about a sewer, that contract is good and you cannot change that contract.
I had
And
no
he's not
response.
answering.
Did you get a response from John? I didn't, so you go ahead.
And you sent a letter, Mr. Bass, that was a year old, and he did not address that issue. You sent a letter that was August 25th, 2022, yesterday. That has nothing to do with that issue of a contract that is signed that you cannot change. Well, why aren't you addressing that? Why isn't Mr. Silvestri saying something? Why isn't the board saying something? That is not That's not fair to anybody in the whole town.
We, Jack, should let you speak now. Go ahead.
Thank you. I understand your position, and what you don't have, that the board has, is Mr. Silvestri's opinion when asked specifically to address your points of the comptroller's guidance. He has addressed it and said that he considers that our decision is consistent with that, and that the town has the basis for making this decision with complete respect to our viewing and seriously considering your issues about the comptroller's guidance.
You're okay with that. You're okay with
At this-
somebody signing a contract and then just saying it's not valid
At
anymore.
this point, I am taking our town attorney's position, yes, I am.
And you didn't send anything to us written that he had signed, because I don't think he wants to
So
put that.
I think I did in my response to your request for a meeting. I specifically addressed the fact that the attorney considered your reference to the comptroller's guidance. I did state that to you in my
Does
letter.
anybody else have an opinion on any kind of contract that is signed between the town and the sewer district or the town and something else? And then the town just says, okay, we don't care about that contract anymore. We're gonna make a new contract after it's signed. Does anybody else have anything to say about that?
I think so, but I think we're going to end the discussion at this point. It's been through.
I don't actually know what
Oh, because where is it going to get us? You have your point of view. You feel this is what you want. This is your second time around making the same request.
No, this is a new issue.
Well, according to what Mr. Silvestri referred to, it sounded like it was basically the same request as what you had come up with last year.
No, it is not.
Well,
Mr. Silvestri was considering your appeal this time exactly. So he has responded to this appeal also and considers
Did you
that
do
the
something right,
comptroller's
Jack?
guidance
We
stands.
didn't see that.
Did he give you a written opinion?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Did Mr. Silvestri give you a written opinion?
Yes,
Would you kind enough to share that with us?
it's in the records of our emails. I will send that to you, sure.
It's not just a sewer thing. It's a town thing. Can you sit up there and be proud of yourselves for asking people to sign a contract and then just reneging on it? On any contract?
This is a difference of opinion between yourselves and our attorney, and at this point, the EDU Appeals Committee is taking position of our town attorney. So there is a perhaps legitimate difference of opinion, and you're welcome to pursue it further. And we have met specifically already with the counselor previously. And his consideration is that this is the same situation as 2022 when he met with you, and he has considered your new appeal.
thank you, Jack. All right, the motion's on the floor, so let's just see how we want to go with that. Steve?
Well, I'm gonna go with what John stated.
All right, Maureen? Josh?
I'm gonna abstain only because I feel like I just don't fully, like 100% understand the situation.
Understood. I understand that. Jack?
Approve the recommendation.
Okay, and I'm going to approve the recommendation. All right, thank you. That we're going along with what they have recommended. Your recommendation was to deny the request, and that's where it is. Josh is just abstaining because he has concerns, and I understand
No,
that.
that's not what I said. I just said I don't feel like I have 100% clarity of both 100 what's going on.
I understand.
Yeah. I just want to be clear on what my thought process
Mhm.
was.
And the last thing we have on the agenda You need a resolution to adopt the 2023 Warren County Hazard Mitigation Plan. I just want to show you, this is what a mitigation plan is. This was for the year 2016. Every 5 years, it has to be updated. That's why we've been working on it. I have to give a lot of the credit to Kathy, though. She was still on board and we understood hazard mitigation, so she helped come up with this one. So she worked with Matthew, so they did come up with the update on it. Otherwise, I'm not sure we would have made it to where we needed to be. And this is a county project. Each town has to come up with their own mitigation plan. And with all the storms and all that we've been having lately, you can understand why they want us to have a plan in place. So if a flood happens in some area, then we can deal with it. But kind of one of the first steps is to get us to adopt this plan. And I also left on the table back there, if you really want to know what it's all about, there's a site that you can go to that tells you about this mitigation plan and what's happening and our town in specifics. It isn't going into detail about every other town. Detail is there about the town of Hague. So basically it's resolved that the Hague Town Board hereby adopts the 2023 Warren County Hazard Mitigation Plan. This plan may be edited or amended after submission for review, but will not require the readoption of any further iterations. This only applies to this specific plan and does not absolve the town board from updating the plan in 5 years. So I would like a motion to approve that.
So
Thank you.
second.
Second by Josh. It's only the first step, but we'll let you know as we move along. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. We're going to go back to the gentleman in the back. Apparently he had a question about a committee.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to address the school board committee. Yeah. And I was kind of surprised we didn't have a report from the committee in committee reports.
Well, you've only met once, right, Jack?
Exactly, exactly my point. The committee was introduced last 30 days ago.
Right.
So they had a chance to meet. And my question is, I would like to know what the goals are of the committee. I would like to know what the mission statement of the committee is. I want to know if you plan to do anything other than this resolution, which if they accept a 4% decrease, saves us $280,000 out of $7 million. What are we chasing? Are we going to, as it says here, that we need extensive research in the existing law to change it? Are we, the committee, going to do that? Have you made any contact with the district senator, Steph? I have. Have you made any contact with the assemblyman for this district?
Simpson.
I have. They told me that in this law also applies to the entire state, and the Finger Lakes have the same problem that we do. So we are not isolated. We could have friends around the state that would help us in trying to change this antiquated law. You know, it might have been good for 20 years, but not today. We are a retirement community. We only have 36 kids in the school. We're paying $7 million. I want to know if you contacted the state controller's office to help us. Is there any issue in thinking about going to the Warren County School District, sending the children over to Huracan? So all those I would expect perhaps to be answered in next month's committee meeting. Thank you very much for your time.
Go ahead, Jack. You had one meeting. I'm not sure how you were supposed to have accomplished all of that in one meeting, but go ahead.
We're gonna have more meetings.
Well, I just barely got organized.
Sir, what is your name?
My name is John Zamrock, ZAMROK, 8940 Lakeshore Drive.
Thank you.
Jack, go ahead. It's your committee.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. I should have in my report indicated that we did have our first meeting. And the minutes of that meeting will be available to the public when we meet again and approve it. We have a second meeting scheduled for the 29th of August. And all of those questions that you brought up were addressed in the broad, and we couldn't solve all of them in our first meeting. We do have a mission statement, and it is to address this situation and to do it in such a manner that it results in the best education for our children and in, to the extent possible, cooperation with the town of Ticonderoga. We chose specifically not to, at this time, approach our assemblyman or senator simply because we wanted to focus entirely on this assessment averaging, and we didn't want to confuse Mr. Nephew or Mr. Russell at this point with our intention. So as soon as that tax rate is sent, we have a letter announcing this to them and to the Commissioner of Education and to the BOCES superintendents, because this is a complicated situation. We being in two counties, we're in two separate BOCES districts also. We understand that is a complication. So we are developing both short-term and long-term plans and trying to determine what didn't happen with the at least two previous attempts to change this so that we don't tread on any sensitive issues or people who may still be in the circuit on this. So we are addressing everything you just said. Also, we brought all of those issues up, and we will be working on those at least on a monthly basis, and the results of those deliberations will be provided to the public, and our meetings are open to the public also.
It's one of the issues of the non-resident taxpayer paying the most fare here to get to those meetings when you live in New Jersey, North Carolina, Virginia. So I'm hoping that your committee minutes will be on the website someplace.
Surely.
And where would I find that? Under minutes?
Well, where did we discuss, Amanda, Amanda and I have already addressed that concern, and we've come up with a plan as to how we will, once the board approves the minutes, they will be posted on the website. But where did we?
I'm not sure yet. I want to make a committee section on the website, so that's something in development. Because I'm not sure how we can get them on E-code, because the E-code is only set up for town board, planning, zoning, stuff like that. But I definitely want to try to get a committee section on the website where I'll post it. Plus I'll make a note on Facebook. Here's where you can find it, as well as on the news page on the front.
Yeah, it's just difficult to, when you're trying to add stuff onto the website, it's not just an easy fix, but we are on top of that, and hopefully
We'll
before
make it available.
the next meeting for you, it'll be taken care of.
Thank you. All right, I'll go back to Ginger. I know you had a question about something. Do you
The
remember?
chargers, yeah, the chargers. I just wondered, are these quick chargers? I mean, how long would you have to, I don't have an e-car, so I don't know, but I believe there are two different kinds, right? There's a fast charge
I have
and a
no
slow
clue.
charge. Oh, okay.
Clue.
But that might be something to ask, because I think some of them you can plug in for half an hour. I mean, if you're driving on a long trip and you could just go in and get a cup of coffee while you're charging, and then you
So
can
it's
go on.
quicker or more.
Yeah, or some you do overnight.
I know that when I looked into it, the cost difference is significant. Not that we shouldn't have the fast
We
charge,
may need both. I mean,
right? But it is a significant difference in price.
Anyone else have any questions? Sandy?
Jack, could you just clarify on what the averaging would do? I was confused about what this gentleman said. It seemed like he was indicating that our tax burden would be reduced, but my understanding that no, it would just spread it out more.
That's what I thought. Is that what it is, Jack?
That's exactly right. It's just spread out.
Okay, so
Rather
it
than
wouldn't
take a
reduce
big jump,
anything.
it would be
Right.
average out.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
Spread out the pain.
do you have
Somebody-
someone there?
Yes, so Jonathan Smith would like to speak. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
I'd like to mention that a basement would qualify as a bedroom according to the sewer code, which doesn't make any sense.
What do you say?
Would you say that again? Speak up a little bit, please, Jonathan.
A basement with a furnace and water heater would qualify as a bedroom under the sewer definition of a bedroom.
I can't respond to that because I not up on all that stuff.
I'm just pointing out that, people aren't calling basements a bedroom when it's functionally not practical to use as a bedroom. So
Okay.
maybe the town board would consider that when they're saying whether an office is a bedroom or not.
It's furnished and we're finished basement.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's some that are.
I have one other question.
Go ahead, John.
I'm gonna just piggyback on Sandra's statement on the averaging. I'm not 100% sure either. So for instance, if we did no averaging, okay, and we just did our normal thing, let's just say they went with the year 5 averaging method, 5-year averaging method. In year 5, if we do nothing, right, versus in year 5, if we got this averaging approved, would we pay more with the averaging approved with this method? Meaning, are our savings that we're getting next year going to be transferred or spread out to year 5? Meaning, is it the same exact amount of money, or is it actually slight savings that in year 5 would be the same either way, or year 6 would be the same either way? I don't know if everyone's understanding my point.
I think I do. I think that you're right about in year 5, it would go to 56%. If nothing changed in those intermediate 5 years, that the year 5, it would be up to 55%.
So essentially, by doing the averaging method, the town of Hague will save money.
Yeah.
Okay, that answers my question then. That's what I thought, but it's somehow a little bit clearer when we talk about averaging.
True. There's some confusion there. There's no doubt about
The
that.
law is never clear. What's gonna happen.
Not the truth. All right, anyone else?
Yes, please. I'd like to make an, or Donna, would you like to
Donna?
announce the steak bake for the 12th?
So the Nick Volunteer Fire Department having steak bake August 12th, starting at 3 p.m. Hopefully till we're sold out. It's steak, dinner, baked potato, local corn from Free Wines, dinner roll dessert for $16. Can't beat it, the price of beef right now. Also, we're gonna be having steamed clams. Also, there will be hot dog hamburgers. And we got quite a bit of raffles going that we're gonna have there. So we'd love to have everybody's support. Come out, get a meal. You don't have to cook that day. We'll do it for you.
What day is that again?
Saturday.
Saturday.
It's coming Saturday.
This coming Saturday.
Thank you, Donna. All right, anyone else? All right, I'm gonna entertain a motion to adjourn. Steve made a motion, seconds the motion. Jack? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for coming.